I loaned my friend $3,000 and then she disappeared.
She stole that money and she went to Cuba.
Before I even begin, I know it was stupid to loan a friend so much money I expect back, but it was that or she would be homeless and struggling severely mentally, which I will further explain. But TLDR, at this point, it's been over a year after multiple promises to start making payments, and I'm awful at communicating or handling this stuff, so I just don't know what to even say to her anymore without losing a friend. But honestly, I'm not sure what there is even left to lose anyway. By the way, this comes from user plainjob8549, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/okstorytime subreddit. So, about a year ago, on the verge of winter, I, 31, helped a friend out with getting an apartment. Let's call her Katie, early 20s. This wasn't just a I'm tight on cash and need some help deal. It was a matter of her being homeless otherwise. She left home right out of high school due to multiple family issues and moved from far away to live with a friend, quote unquote, that promised to help her out until she found a place. That quote unquote friend I will call garbage. Then completely screwed Katie over, charging her $400 a month to live in the garage with no heat except a space heater and an extension cord running from the house for power. The family of Mr. Garbage was extremely and didn't want Katie in the house. So this was the compromise that this sweet young moron accepted. Garbage, then over a couple of years staying there, stole money and used Katie to leech as much of her check as possible, holding the fact that they were helping her over her head. And I mean, this girl paid for groceries she didn't get to eat, helped keep up with yard and housework, and even helped pay for new siding for the house that she was barely allowed in. She had an okay enough job without transportation and was supposed to be saving money to get a place at some point, but was bleeding money into a place she couldn't even live inside of, and people that clearly didn't give a single crap about her. My partner and I spent a good month or so trying to convince her that she's being used and she needs to get out.
Absolutely.
Eventually, they got crazy. Her power cord would somehow become unplugged on a regular basis, cutting off her fan and heat along with any alarm clocks or chargers. That resulted in her being late for work multiple times, risking her job. They got controlling on where she was allowed to go and threatened to lock her out if she came home later than they wanted or stayed out overnight and such. She lived here for years. For years, she lived here?
Yeah, like how would you stay?
I don't know. At some point, I feel like you need to like
go. You gotta find something.
Have the motivation to go somewhere else, anywhere else.
For so long.
Years is a long time to figure out another situation. Note, she did not need to enter the house and disturb anyone to get to the garage and had her own lock and key to get in, but they'd threatened to padlock the door further. She was in constant fear of coming home to not having any way in and losing all her stuff or freezing with no power and heat with winter coming. We finally got through to her that they were insane and she needs out. She cut off payments they were making on her bank card. What did she just say? They were connected to your financial
Dude, you're paying them $400 a month and they have your bank card? How is this? How did this happen?
Well, how did this happen?
How did this happen?
I guess it had to have been the friend.
Yeah.
The friend and then her. It had to have been the friend's abuse. The friend became completely
controlling. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, man.
Must have.
Maybe, and there had to have been a dynamic there too beforehand. Just, I don't know. So she cut off payments they were making on her bank card and started looking for apartments, but had almost nothing saved up because of them. So I wanted to help her. My partner and I lived with his family already, trying to save up for our own house and such, so having her just move in was out of the question really. But we offered it for her to crash at for a bit if needed, and I agreed to help her make a deposit on an apartment. She found one fairly easy, which should have been a red flag, and needed first, last, plus security deposit, which we covered out of our savings, secured the apartment, and packed all of her stuff into our truck. Moved everything in one day before the family even knew she was leaving, and had some celebratory drinky poos all night while we discussed the loan. We made it clear to her how we were screwed over by previous roommates and quote-unquote friends that owed us money or did shady crap and were very hesitant on helping her, but we couldn't watch her be homeless or be the stressed crying mess she was for months, worried about the whole thing. She insisted she would never screw us over and planned on starting to pay me back after she got situated and had utilities and such set up. Now, I knew I wasn't going to see any money for a bit, and that was fine. I figured a few months. Let her get some rainy day cash saved up, then she agreed to start setting aside a bit from each check and then giving me a bulk payment of whatever she could every month or so. We didn't have an exact number or payment date set, but at this point, being a little loose was fine with me to get through winter and the holidays, at least. So spring comes, and I still haven't been paid anything, but I wasn't particularly stressed about it or felt I had to push her. Some stuff came up, and she said she'd get something to me soon. We saw her regularly, had fun nights at her new place, took her out with us, even if it meant paying for her food sometimes, because we wanted to have fun with our friend, and that's how all of our friends are. We all help each other out when someone is strapped for cash, and the favor is returned at some point. Then, without getting too into the nitty-gritty, she found a new partner and started drifting away from the friend group. Understandable at first, new love is intoxicating, and we all get super into our SO for a bit. I figured it would pass. Then crap really hit the fan when her entire complex was closed because the landlord was a dirtbag and she had to be out immediately, like within a few hours. With nowhere to go, we of course had her stay at our place because what else was she gonna do? Someone recently moved out, so there was more room for her now, but it still was a temporary couch surfing situation until she figured out getting back any deposits and such, and saving up for a new place. I figured this would be easy since we would only charge her about $200 as her share, and she would be saving $500 plus a month and no longer paying her own full rent. She makes more than me at work at this point too. I could easily have a $2,000 or $3,000 deposit saved in just 2 or 3 months if I really needed to and budgeted right. So this should not be a problem for her at all. Plus getting back money from the other apartment. But that's not what happened though. Nothing could be done with getting a deposit back, even after contacting lawyers, and any money she was saving by living with us for almost nothing was spent on her new partner, between travel expenses to see her or buying crap. Didn't know this and thought she was saving it like she said. After about 2 months here, Katie jumps off the deep end and decides to move in with her new partner. She basically lived at her place every weekend away, so it made sense, I suppose, even if it was insanely soon to start living together. But hey, it's not my life. After she moved out, though, we basically stopped seeing or hearing from her completely. They were further now, so it was harder to get together, but that wasn't a problem with Katie getting there and back every single weekend for months before. So then it was, let me get a job, then I'll start paying you back. Then it's, I'm working on getting a car, and I'll pay you when I can. And then after inviting her somewhere because we still always included her, even if we knew she wouldn't show, she says she wanted to come but was trying to be responsible and down on budgeting, starting to pay me each week. I thought, great, finally. That was 4 months ago, and I still haven't seen a penny.
Yeah, the thing is, like, what I remember what I was going to say. When you loan out money, especially if you're not doing it with any sort of contract or anything, you kind of have to make sure that this is money that you don't need, because you might not get it back. But anything over, like, I don't even know. I don't know what the minimum is, but when you get into the thousands, you should be getting some sort of payment contract.
Yeah,
like
when you're in thousands, it's like now you're a bank.
Yeah,
this is not a. I feel like anything over 500.
Yeah, that is a bank loan.
500 is where I tap out on, like, this is a chill favor. Yeah. Anything above that, it's like, all right, we need to talk about like how much, when you can pay me back.
Yeah.
I tried talking to her as much as I can without being too pushy because I'm terrible with confrontation. My partner, however, is much better at it and had a whole discussion with her, but got back to the same empty promises of her not trying to screw us over, that stuff just got crazy and she's going to start paying me soon. Been 14 months now. If this was an actual loan, it would have like $500 of interest added, so it's just getting a bit ridiculous. Most of the friend group is either done trying with her or just indifferent to caring if she ever comes around again. I'm getting to that point as well, but I still want my money, so I don't want to totally disregard her yet. We all saw her very briefly over the holidays, but not long enough to even bring it up. What do you mean? Text her, call her, email her, do anything. You can bring this up.
It's $3,000. Bring it up.
It's like, stop it. I'm
sorry,
but
I don't understand
like,
why. Yeah, there's this like weird, like, oh well, like we can't talk about it. It's like it's Christmas.
There's a level of sheepishness that like I lose my empathy for a situation if you're like so sheepish that you can't even stand up and say what you need to say to even address the situation itself.
I've had this conversation with other people where like they'll complain about something and I'm like, okay, well, do something about it, and they're like, no.
Yeah, it's like, I'd rather really just complain and like, just talk about it.
Like, but you can't complain about not having $3,000 if you're like not willing to do anything to get it back.
You're not willing to be like,
obviously,
give it to me.
It is a problem, but like, if you haven't exhausted your options.
And it's, I feel like it's like, well, we have the discussion, then she's like, I swear I'm going to try, but it's like,
no.
And then you don't go, yeah, but that's not good enough.
Yeah.
I can't have, you need to give me X amount of money by this date, or like I'm going to have to figure out like a legal way to get my money back from you. And then watch how fast she starts paying you back.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, it just really because her whole life is her partner now. And I never thought she was even capable of being like this. The whole friend group helped her out, buying essentials for her place, storing stuff for her, giving her rides, and taking her out when she couldn't afford it, giving her a free microwave and TV even. Everyone's just kind of disgusted with the whole situation now, and I don't know what to even think or how to approach this at all. I don't want to go all, hey, where's my money? But there's only so many times I can nudge her and ask about when she'd be able to pay me. You're on the right track. And by the way, you'd be on the right track if you were listening to full episodes with stories like this on Spotify or iHeartRadio or Apple Podcasts. Just search OK Storytime.
Search it up.
And there you will find the full episodes with the aforementioned stories I just brought up.
It's true.
So
It's freaking true, mate.
It's
freaking true.
It's really all it takes. 1,200 plus hours.
Dang.
That's more than 51 days at this point.
Dang.
And we just can't
And
stop
it
adding
just
more.
keeps going.
We just keep adding more.
Keeps going.
We're at the end of the story here. We've got a little bit left. Be assertive with your friend.
Be assertive. No, is it? Be aggressive. Be aggressive.
Katie knows what she owes, and she's making crap financial decisions instead of paying off someone she promised she would never screw over. You would think with how garbage treated her, she'd want to be better than that. If I was in debt, even for just a few hundred, I'd be making it a point to live on just the necessities until I paid it off, even if that means eating mostly ramen and not getting to see my partner or go out for a while. We could really use this money now, too, with a few issues that came up with our pets. That was a lot out of pocket, new car payments, and it's cutting into our house budget that we're looking into hopefully getting this year. So having a bit of wiggle room would be super helpful, but I don't think we're going to see her or the money anytime soon. And that is the end of that story.